Hello, everyone. While we wait for people to come in, and I know maybe we should keep time, given everything is running late. And we should also keep a counter for the number of times AI is being said in this panel or the session. We're very, very excited to be here. And as people come in, why don't I get started with a very quick rapid fire for the panel as well as for the audience, if that's okay with everyone. All right. So I will give the audience a chance first, and people coming in as well. We are doing a rapid fire. Question: AI advocate or AI critic? All the advocates, please raise your hands. Panel? AI critic, skeptic, or minimalist? Similar? No one? All right.
But the rule says that for every 2 advocates, there should be 1 critic if you want to be successful.
Absolutely. I am with you, Pradyumna, and there has been a very interesting quote being made recently. And look, we will move from generative AI to agentic AI, given my background at Microsoft. This is the year of the agentic AI, as per the famous Jensen Huang. What I will say is that any chief AI officer, any chief HR officer, many of you in the room, the big fact is that if we do not have a framework for AI, don't use AI in your enterprise. This has been said by a number of people, including the chief AI officer of Avanade recently. So taking forward the discussion from the first panel, and I know everyone's going, oh no, another panel. But we will make this as engaging and inclusive with all my esteemed CHRO community here, and ensure that we talk to you around the important frameworks as you think about utilizing AI and automation. So our topic today is AI and automation, opportunities and ethical considerations. And you've met, you can see all of our names here, very, very diverse panel as well. I will mention that I have actually just returned to India after 24 years living overseas. And how exciting. Not really. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably all our discussion here. But Gaurav just felt a tremor. So if anyone has felt a tremor, I was saying that returning to India after 24 years and just seeing the excitement on tech and our usage. Can you tell me which is the top 2 user countries as far as AI is concerned? No. Not China. India is one. US is the other one. And so we are actually second, closing in very, very fast to the US. As we think about the unprecedented pace, right, at which AI and automation are coming across us, HR is transforming really at this unprecedented pace, right? Bringing technology, bringing AI and automation. So my question is to the panel and to all of you. Please take a pick on who would like to go first. How do you see AI shaping the future of HR in the next 5 years? Who would like to go first?
I think being from a manufacturing background, sometimes I see that technology is something which people in manufacturing, they fear of technology. But for sure, when I say that technology, AI is not an option now, it's a necessity. And I can clearly see that not only in HR, but even in manufacturing, we have started using those technology, those predictive analysis, predictive maintenance, those things are driven by all our efforts, what we are putting into technology. Yes, into HR for sure. While we talk about AI in recruitment, AI in all in those employee experience, but my point I always keep very clear that you can't replace us. We are there. So it's difficult to replace the human touch, the empathy part. Yes, for streamlining, for making more the transactional activities more smooth, more effective, that bringing those efficacy. And the point which I bring from the HR perspective is that I want to build a trust in the organization. And that trust comes from technology. Trust comes from knowing people well, their aspirations well. I think technology is helping me into getting into those areas which as a person I was not able to put my efforts or time in. So yes, it is helping to bring more efficiency in my deliveries, but for sure it is not going to replace me.
Well said.
So I can take it, and maybe people will wondering that how the foundation guy is doing here and what is this on the AI. So what we do is just for a few sentences about us. We work on the skilling side and we mentor the entrepreneurs and a lot of AI-driven work we are doing, and we built the platform for the nation and the India plus other countries also, and all are AI-driven platforms. So with that knowledge coming in, currently the status is human versus AI in HR. It will change to human plus AI in 5 years. So that is the one gist which I want to give a perspective. So people will like to have this plus thing along with that. It's currently being discussed, debated versus, I think that will change first of all. It will become a plus to us. It will become a part of our life. As other technologies we have adopted in the past. So this is what I want to just open the statement with. It'll be plus, not versus.
Super. Just to add on to what we heard, I want to take two examples and then maybe set context further for our conversation. All of us really enjoyed the win that the Indian cricket team had very, very recently, right? Which was the Champions Trophy, by the way. We all enjoyed it on our screens, but there was one change if you were watching it on the streaming platform. The platform had changed. It was bought over by Jio and it was not Disney anymore. If you dial down a little bit, Disney had the highest number of subscribers, everyone who was there. But what they did not balance out was their balance sheet. And hence Jio came and took over, right, and brought the rights that they had. So all this while, our discussion has primarily focused around efficiency and effectiveness. But if you bring in AI brings in what differentiates good from great, which is that human touch. And we are actually worried in reverse, right? We are saying we will lose the human touch when we bring AI. But hey, just let's think a little deeper. If that human touch would really be better with the kind of information and opportunities that AI provides for us. Recruitment, great example. How many people apply versus how many people are we able to respond to? Now with the use of AI, maybe you are able to respond to each and every one who has applied to your organization, right? So just setting context, pass it on, right, so that we have that broader conversation.
Ambika, thanks. So I'll twist your question. First, 180 degree. It is not AI going to shape the future of HR. It is the people who are going to shape or reshape or repurpose the future of HR using AI in a big way. And how it is getting done is, and we heard the previous panel, I think AI is going to make us look smarter. AI is going to make us look more strategic. We heard that, males, people who are not able to write 2 sentences of English are now able to articulate better. So we are definitely going to look smarter. Our thoughts are going to be much more strategic when it is put in front of the Mancom. And hence we will maybe now HR at a larger scale will have a say at the table. So from tactical to strategic is what AI is going to help HR to transform. The second thing is the hyper-personalization that we are all talking about and experiencing in our lives. Now, HR might be able to use AI in a big way to hyper-personalize its actions. If you are a performance coach, you can hyper-personalize using AI, reading the report, saying, okay, how do I really talk about it to my people? I'll give an example from Kotak Life. We have a bot which talks to employees at each phase of their career. And at each phase of their career, we are getting multiple data points. Now, that's just part one of it, and it's just not even the tip of the iceberg. Can you imagine if, as an HR, I know that Ambika, by giving her responses at when she got promoted or she didn't get promoted, when she was enjoying something else in her life, multiple phases, she went for a workshop and she liked it or whatever, data points. The AI, the generative AI tells me, Ambika is this persona, and if you are going to give her these inputs, these kind of discussions you are going to have, which is very personalized, vis-a-vis Sumesh, which is going to be very different. Sumesh is going to be, say, a flamboyant guy and he wants recognition, versus Ambika, who is looking for austerity. It's going to be such an amazing piece where HR need not be, our own biases need not be there. It is your responses which is thrown back to HR to have a very, very customized, personalized, meaningful conversations with people. Taking actions, so the OD gurus, the retention experts, the engagement trackers, everything can be done by AI, and you then use that data to build relationships, basically.
Love that, love that. So human plus AI, hyper-personalization. We can't replace the human, but definitely the human plus AI coming in strong. Thank you, panel. There is this important piece which was also touched by the previous panel about efficiency, but we won't talk about that. We've heard that we're actually going strategic and we're going much more beyond efficiency and the tactics of using technology. The challenge is that this also raises ethical concerns. And how can organizations strike the right balance between automation and human touch? I know that you all have touched a bit, particularly Ruchira, you talked about Kotak Mahindra's chatbot. Now, how do you get to balance this in your talent acquisition process? Maybe I will start with you first, Sumesh.
Sure. I work with an audit firm, right, which by its birth is an audit firm. So you can imagine there are only so many things we can do and there are enough guardrails. But here, three very specific things that I can really share about. One, the context is very, very important. So the context in which we operate, understanding what is that the output that we are really looking for from an AI system that we are bringing in is absolutely critical, because there are enough and more products out there in the market. Not every product is what an organization requires. So step one, identify that context. Now that you have identified the context for your own organization, you can start building those guardrails. What is it that we have done? We launched something called as Trusted AI, which is a framework to help all of our professionals understand on how do you evaluate the AI to take care of the biases, the challenges, what is that trusted AI that we are trying to bring about. It has a series of questions that you can ask to get that done. And third, and most critical, at least that I feel, get an independent evaluation done. I mean, we all understand that systems could have challenges. There could be biases that could be there in the system, primarily driven by someone who has presented that idea for that to get through. Can you cut it to zero? Improbable, but you can reduce that probability by bringing in an independent panel who evaluates the system. So these are three very specific things that we do in the organization whenever we have to implement a system.
Thank you. In terms of bias in hiring, and maybe time to engage the audience again, how many of you think AI helps remove or AI introduces bias in hiring? The remove team, can it remove it? All right, just four. Does it introduce bias?
Definitely, if the names are same and using in your resumes like final dot final, almost final 1, final 2.
Yeah.
If your resume says final 3 or final 4. So I don't know what is AI going to pick up your resume from. So, or the names are same and you have done a spelling mistake in your name or something, how AI is going to react. So obviously biases. And one more important thing is from last, see this is generative. And based on the learnings from the machine, this totally depends what kind of data the generative AI has today from last 50 years of hiring.
Yep.
It lots depend on that. So basically, what has been the trend in hiring for last 50 years is going to definitely pick up that. So it's going to be biased from that perspective that if are we becoming so intelligent that it is picking up the data from last 50 years, last 3 years, last 2 years, and depends on the evolution of the country specific technology as well as the roles and the industry they have. So a lot of biases can be there with these factors, which I have seen this in the world being very, very close to the generative AI and now agentic AI we are exploring and ChatGPT 6 and 7 coming up. So it's like, it's confusing.
Thanks, Gaurav.
Can I just add one point, right? And very, very healthy conversation proves your point about for every 2 people, there is 1 critic that is required, right? So let's date back where all this evolution started. If you think about what IBM did, right, with IBM Watson when it came into being, it did something very similar. And that's where that context in terms of where that data is being picked is so critical. Are we saying that there aren't human biases in a hiring process? We got to kid ourselves, right? I mean, when we make a call, it's a judgment call that we are really making. Can we enable a system to provide us more data to make a deliberative decision? If you let the system make all the decision, that's where the challenge is. I go back to what Gaurav started with. It is and, it is not or, right? So that's how we probably want to look at some of the system. Sorry, back to you.
All. Yes.
Absolutely.
Well said. Let's stay on the panel. Yes,
sorry,
Ruchira,
yeah.
please
So,
go.
Also, the data is going to be inherently biased. For example, middle-aged white men are going to be superior CXOs, or brown men, sorry, are going to be superior CXOs because CXOs are men, right? And that's what AI is picking up. How do you break the cycle? How do you train the AI to think differently? That is going to be a challenge for another day, and I'm sure the Sam Altmans of the world are looking at that challenge.
No, very well said. And what I can share from Microsoft days, because I think we were the first company to bring this up, and my teams globally, we threw them the challenge to actually look at, they were sourcing and they were talent teams, and we said, why don't you automate and then you do another sourcing, which you're doing manually, and then see which one is actually bringing up a more diverse set of pool. And I will tell you that these were the humans, because there was intention that they were bringing a diverse set of pool. But they thought that was diverse because it was superficially diverse. There were more women, there were more people who looked different. But I think when they pulled in AI and they used the automation to actually cover a bigger market, a bigger background, a more diverse sort of industry experience. And I think this is where, constant practice and trials have helped. I mean, I'm sure people are using Copilot, but we were using Copilot back in 23, 24 to test this. And one of the ways is to be very intentional, that we are going to look at diversity deeper down and not just think in terms of skin color and gender, but actually to hire people from outside of technology. I know we've spent a lot of time.
I have to look at the panels and the audiences which attends these panels, right? A raise of hand, how many times you have seen in a panel of 4, women 3 and 1 man? How many times? Raise of hand, once.
Many
Twice.
times.
Many times.
Yeah.
Gaurav, really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So
Good.
it depends on the topic, it depends on the background as
So
well.
when diversity is being spoken about,
So-
when, so women
then
empowerment
you're going
is
further on
spoken
the prompting
about.
side of it, right?
Yeah.
So-
So it has to be broken. The cycle has to be broken. And the thing, and very good example, Ambika.
Fantastic. I know this is a very, very debated and hot topic, and I think it's
I
good to
surrendered.
get.
I don't debate.
Good call, good call. But I think the famous case is when Amazon, when Jeff Bezos asked them to use the AI, and then AI started doing selection, it was rejecting the women initially. So I think there's a good case for us thinking about how we work on and we intentionally take out the bias through our hiring process. Moving on. And I'm still staying on this, but an important one is employer branding, which has not been touched upon. So Ruchira, if I can ask you, how has AI helped in your organization's approach to employer branding? And tell me just the metrics that have improved significantly for you there.
So Ambika, am I audible at the back? Yeah. So Ambika, we are at a very nascent stage at Kotak. And the first stage where we have progressed a lot is in the hiring, using AI extensively in hiring. Thousands of resumes come for a normal sales job. So there's extensive usage to channelize the data, use AI to see which are the profiles which are going to be more productive with Kotak Live. They're going to stay more into Kotak Live. So but if I separate that for employee branding, the 4 things that currently we are working on. One is AI-powered communication, a very personalized communication to the talent pool which is there. So, for example, the way someone, say a fresh grad out of the school is going to look at communication versus a middle-level person, how they are going to receive that communication is going to be different. And their experiences, their chat histories, all that can we use it to generate very customized, personalized communication to them. The second is where we are working on is the talent fit itself. We are going to be, and this is a discussion which is currently going on in the organization, we want to make the selection process absolutely democratic, especially for fresh grads. Currently, if you see in the organizations, in most of the organizations, except the tech organizations, we have tiered colleges. So saying the IIMs, we will go and select particular kind of a grad at a particular salary bracket. But we forget that it is not the education of the person or the college of the person, it is what the person brings to the table. And that person can be sitting anywhere. It could be a tier 2 college, a tier 3 school. They could be anywhere. So that's one thing that we are bringing in. And so we want to democratize that entire process. If you see that democracy is already there in the selection process of the schools, right? They do not, or even say the civil services, they do not differentiate the pedigree of the person, right? Anybody can come from anywhere. So that's the second thing we are doing. It is really the job fitment than the school fitment. The third thing, and that again through AI, the third thing we are talking about is where is the talent pool lying currently in India? If I want to hire operations, say at the middle level people who are really good in process management or designing processes, are they really lying only in the 4 metros or 6 metros? May not be the case. And Surya in the previous panel made an excellent point saying that talent might be lying anywhere. So we are wanting to use AI to identify the talent pools which might be there for very specific roles. So those are the 3 ways that we are. But it's a very nascent stage, Ambika.
Yep.
And so hence measurement is currently not, I can't tell you how it has changed. For hiring, it has changed. My TATs have improved. Our experience with the candidates have improved, our retention rates have improved, because now my HR team is able to have a deeper conversation instead of just having saying, kahan se ho, kya kar rahe ho, bike hai ki nahi, that the AI is telling me. I don't need to have asked that question. I can then ask very, very deeper conversation with candidates. So that there's a huge difference that we are seeing. And the other things that I spoke about is what we are wanting to now establish.
That's great to hear. And I agree with you that while this is nascent, I think we have this goal as a panel to actually introduce the new things, and your experience in measuring or thinking about measuring employer branding is going to be significant. How are we doing on time? I don't want to be the panel that sits between you and your next speaker or your lunch. Shall we shift gears? And there was a whole discussion around experience. I think a couple of people in the last panel talked about employee experience. I think Manish mentioned from the NatWest group. That is going to be a big one in future of work. And unfortunately, if I may, I don't think experience is taken seriously in our country or in most of Asia, right? It is seen as something which is so soft and not important for business outcomes, but unfortunately, it is going to be highly, highly relevant. Gaurav, shall I ask you around? What challenges have you seen in employee experience? And are you thinking about utilizing employee data or tech at all in improving that?
So I think it's a very good question, and all of us been kind of doing that in some other phase, but our organization particularly. So one thing which I want to mention is very clearly the picture is really scary if you see that for future, for HR professionals. Why it is scary? Because we're always talking about same thing, human versus AI and all, not plus AI. So please think from that perspective. But if you really think the experience is going to change multifolds when the agentic or whatever you want to name it as, AI is going to come on board. It's going to be like changing the experience of your onboarding experience where people are coming, there will be virtual offices created for the people, and it's going to help a lot in the virtual environment what we're working today. The onboarding will become very, very, I would say, fruitful. And the debate what we have is AI bringing any kind of efficiency to you? There is no debate about it. There is something like, we should not be debating about this question at all because this is going to bring that efficiency. But when I meant it like this, that the experience is basically in a different life cycle actually. So it starts from onboarding till the performance management reviews and other things. So what we have done is, we have I think moved away from the annual reviews now. It is mostly on the real-time scenario, and we are only evaluating the human approach is basically done on the how part of it. So everything has been done by the generative AI, the kind of data we have it, and it throws the data because we are a highly KPI-driven organization, and one of the leader comes from Microsoft. So
that makes it just the best.
So the thing is, it is going to change that phase, and we've been talking about eliminating these performance reviews for a long time, and Deloitte started this debate, but we didn't get away. I think it's time now that we will get away from that matrices and all that stuff. People will get the real-time thing, and we are getting that. So what we have done is we have been able to give a real-time feedback to the people. They do that, but how part cannot be eliminated because this is very different from the human approach. And that's what the experience is. And the other experience which we have talked about is in learning actually. Because the things will move in future from our maybe the experience-based hiring or maybe experience-based promotion or experience-based your role changes, it will move to a skill-based thing. So what skills, what level of efficiency and competency I hold on those skills basically will change the entire picture to it. And what we have done is, and we have done it for the other people, our beneficiaries as well, we have bring a skill card kind of thing. So we have internally following that skill card, what efficiency you have in those skills, and depending on that skills, we basically assign the projects to the people. And how it has been done by AI, because the kind of work you do, the kind of adoption rate you have on AI, because it's not about that you have to be a technical person every time to be evaluated in that model of maybe ecosystem what you have. Your adoption, how adaptive you are for that AI technology and the using it on a day-to-day functioning, because it's not going to replace the roles. It's going to only replace the task. So AI is here to replace the task, not the roles. We have to very, very clear. It is going to generate a lot of roles. So major problem what comes is that people get scared.
Yeah.
Am I going to be replaced in that experience model? So there is an education required, deep dive into it, like we have a prompting thing in the ChatGPT today. If you have the right prompt, you'll get the right answer. If you have the wrong prompt, you have the wrong answer actually. So if you're looking it from the wrong angle and the wrong thing, then I don't think that you'll get the right answer in the for this debate for it. Definitely, yes, I can talk on and on about the experience, but onboarding has changes. We have created the virtual office because we have, in some of the countries, we don't have office as well. So people are working from the home and there are 5-6 people in those countries. So it's a problem for us to have kind of onboarding them and all the stuff. So virtual AI-driven thing has helped us a lot. So they give us, like, if they want to interact, they want to connect with the people through this virtual tours, they can connect. So we have done that through internal, that technology what we have developed. And I think it's helped a lot. And in the learning phase where it is very, very hyper-personalized, where this is like skilling, in adaptation and learning those skills of adopting AI is helping us a lot. So that is also one of the important things which we have included.
Gaurav, thank you. Thank you for covering a lot of that. I'm not going to paraphrase it because we are obviously running in this race with time. I think AI needs to invent some more time for everyone. Pradyumna, I'll come to you, and I think the important part about ethics. Tell me, you've run HR, and now you actually run a college. I mean, that is such a fantastic thing that you're doing for the community. What ethical considerations, and if you can go, from the top priority to down, should leaders, everyone, leaders, people, consider when they're leveraging AI in their organizations?
When we talk about AI, it's all about dealing with data, analyzing data. And it's important then when we talk about collecting data, employees should know that for what the data is being collected, how it is being used. And this information, if transparently shared with employees, that becomes the base of your being an ethical organization using AI. That becomes one. But for sure, I also say that when a lot of data is with you, you get into trap of being a surveillance culture. You should not track those individuals, rather track the trends which are coming out of the data. That becomes important. And there are a lot of data protection laws now. We should be aware of it and we should follow those. I think the trust which employees need is that the data which is being used, they should know the intention behind the collection of the data and how it is being used. I think that becomes important.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I think this was brought up as well, but in terms of the guardrails that are being built by organizations, please tell me one big guardrail that your organization has created. I think Pradyumna highlighted some of the challenges. I'll go with you first, Sumesh. What is KPMG doing to keep ethics in AI?
So, like I started with my earlier response.
One guardrail.
Yeah. So, which is ensure that you have a review board that checks out for the systems that are built. Just don't go rely on someone who has built the system.
Thank you.
So for us, going by the law of the land is extremely important at Kotak. So DPDP Act, before it came in, we had guardrails in, there is a Chief Information Security Officer, even a contract that we're doing with another partner where data is going to flow out. is very, very deeply evaluated and approved by our CISO team. So it's part and parcel of our life. Plus, we are highly regulated industry, so it's a given.
It's a given.
Yeah.
Very, very good to know. Gaurav.
We only check.
For us, it is also human-driven, but AI-powered. I think Kotak talks about it, saying everything has to be human-driven, but power it with AI.
Right.
I think very quickly we only check the relevance and the impact. Is it really required? So AI will check a lot of things, but we only get into details that is it really required to be checked?
Yeah.
Because a lot of data throwing on you will not make a lot of relevance. And am I going to use the data or not? If it's still being kind of generated, it's no use of me. But it might create a kind of a problem for my people. They might feel insecure about it and all. So relevance and impact is very important whenever you do that.
Thank you, Gaurav. We have the alarm, and I'm really excited to also conclude this, because while we're talking about technology and AI driving, as this panel says, it is the human which is in the driving seat, and all of you in HR are in actually the first organization and the first team and the first leadership that needs to take responsibility of driving the future of life in the organization. With that, I will thank you to each of you, my panel. I know some of you have traveled overseas. Thank you, audience. Very, very engaging. A lot of data that we collected, and we will be using that ethically. So thanks a lot.